morning, everyone. Technical difficulties again. I cannot figure out my lighting situation. I feel like I need to get new lighting for this thing because every time I get on here, it's cloudy and it just doesn't want to cooperate. So, hopefully, this will be good enough. I am still experimenting. We'll get it figured out. Good morning, Mary Jane. We'll give a few minutes. I was a little bit late, so people may have hopped off. So we'll give a little bit of time for people to show back up. Yeah, this is just not as bright as I want it to be, but that's okay. We will get through it. So today I have this rock. This is one of the new ones that I ordered from Amazon. And I gifted you guys for the channel's 5th birthday tomorrow. I made this traceable with kind of celebrations was what I was thinking. It could be birthday, it could be other. And because I have this kind of elongated rock, I really want to do this little champagne glass. I think it's so cute. So, and I also have this gold paint that I got around the holidays. And it is really pretty. I really like this Deco Art gold paint. So I wanted to use that because in the color version of this was gold champagne. So let's jump in and get started. I'm going to cut out my little champagne. Good morning, Lisa. The light that I brought over here is like almost completely blocking where your guys' comments are. So if I kind of have to wait for it to slide to the top to see it. So I'm trying. So I'm going to cut this guy out because this is the one that I'm going to do today. And if you're painting along, you can pick whatever one of these that you want to do. They're all kind of celebration related. I guess they're kind of birthday themed, but the balloons and the champagne could be other celebrations too. So let me set that off to the side. So I think that's going to fit decently. I might trim it up a little bit. Sun is trying to come out. Maybe that'll help our lighting situation. I really need to I need like a light that comes across right over here, over the top. That's like a bar that just shines down onto the mat. Would be perfect. But we'll see. Let me get out my carbon paper that oh, sorry, scared the cat. I can see I've already been into this one a little bit, so I don't need much of it. But this isn't huge, so I can just kind of cut out a little bunch. And I didn't bring any washi tape over here, so I'm just going to have to be really good about holding it in place, which is also okay. You guys can hear me, right? I probably should have asked that 3 minutes ago, but making sure you can hear me. Okay, so you want to remember a shiny side down. So you can kind of tell there is a rough side and the shiny side. And the shiny side is where all the carbon transfery stuff is. So, oh my gosh, can't get the stuff off here. Come on, little champagne glass. Okay, so I'm going to put this guy on here, kind of feel he's going to be just big enough for the... Okay, good. You can hear me. Perfect. Just making sure. And there's a couple ways you can do this. So you can use a dotting tool to trace around it. Or if you feel more comfortable holding a pencil, you can do that. That also helps you know maybe where you've gone, like what lines have you gone over so far. So I'm going to use the pencil. And I sometimes kind of, what do you call it? Almost like color over it to make sure that it's transferring. Because sometimes it takes a bit of time. This is going to shake the camera a bit. I also have some white transfer paper that I just didn't dig out, but that can be really handy if you are tracing onto like a dark rock. These rocks are pretty dark, so it can be helpful. Oh my gosh, I feel like I have no leverage here and I'm afraid to move it, so I don't move the carbon paper. But the white tracing paper, carbon paper, whatever it is, it comes off white instead of black. So if you have a dark rock, it can be quite handy to make sure that it shows up But I did bring my soapstone pencil over here so that I can kind of retrace my lines if this doesn't show up great, and kind of give myself a guide. But for now, I'm just going to kind of get the lines in here. I'm not going to mess with the face because I'm going to paint all of that gold first, and I think I can freehand the face. So some of these can be guides, and I am curious to hear from you guys about how, oh no, I totally just moved it. And you know what? None of my stuff is transferring anyway because I'm not pushing hard enough. So let's try again. I am curious to hear how you use these when I give the free ones away. If they're useful, you may not even trace them. You may use them just as some like a visual to kind of look at and guide you. If this doesn't work, I'm just going to freehand it. Yeah, it's not working. This rock, oh no, it's kind of there. It's kind of there, but barely. That's annoying. So maybe if I try the dotting tool might be a little more aggressive with the transferring. Let's see here. I'm just going to push. Oh yeah, this will probably help. Push a little harder. But do you guys use these? Do you like them? I have been toying with the idea and I just haven't taken the leap, and I don't know if there's a need or a demand for it, but I've been toying with the idea of creating some of these digital downloads and putting them on an Etsy shop so that they're nice and affordable. You can just download them. But I just don't know if there's a need. Sure. Okay, that one's going through. We needed to use the metal. I don't know if there's a need or a use for them or if they would be well received. So any thoughts on that? More than welcome to pop them in the chat. I'm thinking about maybe even creating a survey and sending it out through the newsletter and posting it on the community tab just to get a feel for how people use them, and like, would people want a physical product they could order where I print them out and then send them to you with carbon paper? Like, I just don't know. So if you have thoughts, throw them in. If not, that's okay too. Okay, I think this is going to help. I think I can freehand these lines, but I'll just give myself a little bit of idea of where they're coming from. Like that. Okay, let's see how this does. So it's barely there for you guys. So what I'm going to do is take my soapstone pencil. I'm going to keep this guy handy so we know what we're doing. Oh, my nails. Everybody's complimenting on this color. I had it at Halloween. Oh, my cuticles are so dry. I forgot to put lotion on. I've had this color at Halloween too with some really cool designs. And I don't know what the color is because it's my nail val that does them. I think she uses the brand Young Nails. It's gel. I know that. But she has this whole like little album of colors you get to pick from and a whole wall full of them. So we were debating for this design between pink and purple, and I let her pick, and she picked the purple, and it was a good pick because I like it and lots of you like it too. Okay, so remember, soapstone pencil, you can just rub it off. If not with your finger, with a paper towel. But this is a nice little handy tool to get your designs on here before you get to painting. I'm just going to kind of freehand this out like so. All right. And then my line was here for the champagne. All right. So I think with the gold, it's super pretty. And I don't know if I want to do gesso or not because gesso takes some time to dry. Let me show this to you. Oh, goodness. Just such a super sparkly, you kind of see it in there. Oh, let me squeeze it. Super sparkly. It's a really, really pretty gold. So, okay, fair answer. Mary Jane says she doesn't think she'd use them because you don't paint as many rocks. But so yeah, I've also tried to think of how I could do something around the writing, because that seems to be a big pain point for people, is they feel like they want better writing on the rocks and that that's hard. So I'm trying to think in what ways what could I do to help with that? I've done I know with one of my Christmas designs a couple of years ago, I did I think it was a writing sheet to kind of let you practice before you got onto the rock. I don't think I have on those downloads something that counts how many times they get downloaded, because that would probably help me too, so that I know what's going on. But I decided I'm going to put some gesso on here because these rocks they're dark. And when I get this on here and it needs to dry, I will show you the bunnies. If you guys saw the bunnies yesterday, I put resin on them yesterday, and oh my gosh, the resin just brought out the natural stone so much. It's so pretty. So I will show you those when we're waiting for this guy to dry. Get this across. And you can see there are some little rough spots. That's why it's not quite sinking in there. But that's where gesso can come in handy. If you can fill in those spots, it kind of smooths things out a little bit, gives something for the paint to grip onto. Get a bigger brush now. Now we can fill it in with a bigger brush. Oh goodness, I got more comments coming down here and I can't see them. Let's see. How do you keep your soapstone? I sharpen it in a pencil sharpener. So I keep it sharp. It got dull on me actually the other night and I had to sharpen it. So give me 1 second, because we're going to need to give this time to dry and I can show you how it comes out. So I got this soapstone pencil from Happy Dotting Company. There are other brands you can get on Amazon and wherever else. I'm not quite sure what the usual use for them is. Maybe construction. But I like this one because I like Happy Dotting Company. I wanted to support their small business, and I like the little doohicker that came with it, the holder. So let me show you. I could see why that question would come up, because if you don't think it comes out. So this loosens and it actually comes out. And so you just stick this in the pencil sharpener like a normal pencil sharpener. And funny enough, my husband installed, I think it was during COVID when the kids were home doing the homeschool stuff. He installed like an actual old school pencil sharpener like we all had when we were kids, that's on the wall that you crank. So that's what I stuck it in the other night and just sharpened it up. And that does the trick. And the Happy Dotting Company one comes with 2 of those soapstone stick thingies. Daisy, get down before you knock stuff over. So yeah, I really like that. It's been a handy tool. I use it a lot to line out my writing before I do the writing, because sometimes my spacing is off. If you guys have been around for a while, you know I have a tendency to start too far to the right. So let's see. What's Lisa? You don't trace images on your rocks, but you think they're useful for ideas. Okay, so design ideas are hard for you. So, okay. So it might be useful, even if you're not tracing them, just having something to look at or something even to spark an idea. Sometimes I get a lot of ideas from cookies. If you guys have been around a while, you know that too. I get a lot of ideas from cookies that I see on Pinterest, and then I just I don't necessarily copy it exactly, but it will spark an idea. So maybe that's something that these could do for you. So let me show you while this guy's drying. These are the bunnies from yesterday, so with the resin on, but just look at the natural stone and how the resin really just brought it all out. So that was one, the polka dot, that was the easiest one. Then there was the stripy one, and just look at the natural stone is so pretty. Resin's got a scratch on it. How do I do that? And then this was the one that was kind of like an Easter egg. But you can just kind of see how pretty these rocks are. They're such great canvases, and just look at the size of them. Like that's my hand. They're nice and decent sized. I think that I linked them. may have linked them in this live stream too, just so you can. I was able to pull up the same seller or whatever through Walmart on YouTube's affiliate, whatever. They let me link stuff directly in the videos now. Or in the descriptions, I always have the Amazon links for stuff, Amazon or whatever else I use. Let's see, Lisa's down here again. Cute. Yes, those bunnies were fun. I had fun with those. Those were inspired by cookies, oddly enough. Okay, good. You have an old school pencil sharpener too. Yay. Yay. I really like it. It works better than the stupid little, the little ones you put the pencils in and like twist them. They're annoying once you've used one of the OG ones. Okay, I think I'm dry enough to start putting some of the gold on because I think we're going to need 2 coats of this for sure. So I'm going to start with edges just to try and get them nice and smooth. It's actually almost too thin, but it's what I brought over here. So if I trusted that I could do these live streams on Wi-Fi, I would do it from where I normally paint. I call it my rock painting bench. It's not really a bench. I use the end of our, is it a breakfast counter? I think it's supposed to be a breakfast counter, but the previous owners, I think they renovated the kitchen, but it's really high. We can't find any stools where you could sit and the counter isn't in your chin. So we just use it. I guess it's kind of a buffet counter on holidays. All the food goes up there. But I use the end of that and I stand and I paint most of the time because there's no room for a stool or anything back there. But I stand there, but I like it because if the families, if it's movie night and we're all in there, I'm not away from everybody. So I like that I'm still present with everyone. And then my husband, gosh, it must have been maybe 4 years ago, 5 years ago. I think it was for Mother's Day. He loves shopping at Costco. And he found, now I'm going to forget what it's called, a potting bench, like for plants, for the gardeners. I can't keep anything alive to save my life, but this potting bench, it's got shelves and then it opens up in the middle and there's storage inside. And it's got it. I got that comment. Sorry, you guys are hiding behind my light. It's just really cool. And he put it in that back corner because at that point I was accumulating a lot of supplies. And so he made that for my rocks. So I call it my rock painting bench, even though it's really a pottery bench or a potting bench for gardeners. And I need to clean it up. I was just thinking that the other day that I don't know if I'm too embarrassed or brave enough to show you guys cleaning the whole thing up so you can actually see my little space too, because I have had requests for that. It definitely have to be a hyperlapse because it's one of those times that I think I need to pull everything out and work on it. Just doing some cleaning and reorganizing because I do acquire supplies that I don't use anymore. I might try something because it sounds fun and exciting, and then that falls off, or it just isn't something I use as much anymore. So, okay, I need to leave this alone and let it dry, or we're never going to get a second coat on it. I should have brought a second rock over here to do something else with while I was waiting. Maybe I will go grab one. I'll be right back. Let me go grab that. Actually, you might still be able to hear me because of the microphone. Let's see what we've got in the corner. All right. While we're letting that guy dry, grabbed another one, and then I grabbed the one that I made for the thumbnail of this video, just a cupcake. I did this on my lunch hour. The other day at work. I don't remember. Just brought my Tule Art brush pens and did that at work as kind of a it's a good break. I've been not doing a good job taking my lunch hours at work because everything is so busy. So that's been kind of one of my goals, is to take my lunch hours. I really should be going to the gym. Sometimes the rocks just make me happy, and they're quick and easy and they're there. So that's what I do. But this one, what should we do with it? I didn't bring any other supplies over here, so maybe let's write on it. What could we write on it? Maybe we'll do a cheers so that it goes with the champagne, even though it's two different colors. We'll do that. That's still drying. Whoops, I stuck my finger right in it. So let's do some script, since that's something. I wonder if I could make this focus on that. Okay. Actually, let's line it out. Will this show? Barely going to show, but it'll be enough to give me a guide here. Ooh, didn't tighten that enough. I know you guys can't see this. And it's another case of where I started too far off to the right, and you're going to see why. But let's see. So this is a Posca PC1MR, and I love these pens for writing and for outlines. And a trick with E's, if you have two E's next to each other, is I make them more like a C to start with so that I can make them even. Otherwise, I end up with two funny E's that don't look quite the same. And this is all going to look kind of funny for starters, because I'm going to come back and thicken these up. Oh, my S is awful. Okay. I'm going to go back and forth, and then I'm also going to make this guy come around like that. Let's put a little more gold on this guy. We'll go back and forth, back and forth. This is what I do normally. Well, I guess I just answered that because I couldn't see your question from my light blocking it. But yes, I do paint on my lunch hour. But normally, I don't bring paint like this. I will bring paint pens and simple stuff. Hi from Missouri, Sandra. Welcome. I'll bring the paint pens just because they're more portable. There's less mess. Like, I don't have to have a rinse jar for paint brushes and whatnot. So I'll usually bring paint pens and the Posca PC1MRs. It's a lot of like writing rocks or just easy things to do. I actually did pack the glitter for this one, the hologram glitter, and I just put it on with a dotting tool that I could wipe off with a napkin, that's a first. I've never brought a bottle of paint to work before. And this has, weirdly, some weird hairs coming off of it that are making, you need the very slightest little, can you see that? Right there, the gold. There was like a hair pulling off of it, which I can take that off later with my nail drill, because that is super handy for getting off things like that. Okay. This is really going to need to dry now. So we'll set this one off to the side. With that brush. Oh, you know what? This is a Sammy brush. How did this get in my brushes? It's one of my old brushes that I gave to Sammy. The gold is not from Walmart. I don't think Walmart sells Deco Art. So it's Deco Art. And I either got this at Michael's or Hobby Lobby. And I don't remember which. They both have Deco Art. I am starting to move out of, these are kind of the only Poscas I use at this point, is these PC1MRs, because I like the tip of them. But for the most part, most of my paint pens now are Tule Art. But the deco art, you can also get it online. I keep meaning to go to their website because I keep seeing in my Facebook feed that they're having like a 60% off clearance sale, and I wanted to see if they have anything good. Um, but yeah, it's a good brand. So I'm kind of moving away. I'm starting to move away when I need to replace colors from the apple barrel that Walmart sells. It works. I don't want to discourage anybody that's on a budget from using it, or if that's the easiest thing you have access to, definitely use it, but it doesn't last as long on the shelf. Like I have so much paint that it has to last a while, and these other brands are just a little better coverage wise. So if you want to invest, I think the folk art, the deco art, they are just better coverage, kind of a better quality paint. But gesso can solve a lot of that for, creating a base coat on a lot of the more affordable paints that take more coats. So what I'm doing now is I am thickening up all of the places, all of my downstrokes. So anywhere that the pen, when you think of cheers, you go down here. And when you make an H, you go down here. I go up here, so this won't get thickened, and then down here. So thickening up all of the downstrokes. I often do thicken up the upstrokes by at least a little bit just to smooth them out. But this creates a faux calligraphy look. So if you know anything about calligraphy and those pens, those fountain pens, or the ones you dip, they kind of spread. They have like little tongs. I don't know, what would you call them? Tines, but they kind of split open when you push harder on them. So when you do calligraphy and you're going down, you push harder and it automatically widens this up. So we're just kind of creating that in a different way. And it's a little more controllable, in my opinion. Hi, Carrie. I'm glad you're here, even though you can't paint. I'm so sorry. Poor Carrie had an injury, which is going to keep her from painting for a little while, and that is a bummer. So I'm glad she came to hang out with us anyway. Okay, so thickening up the downstroke. So a lot of times I'll just draw this extra line on all of them, and then I'll come back and color it so that it's kind of even. It's also a good way if you had kind of a wobbly line somewhere that you can smooth it out by kind of thickening it in a way that smooths it out as you need it to be. So you can see, look at the difference in the other letters to these and how much better that looks. It stands out. Okay, R's are some of the most challenging letters. They are so annoying sometimes. I feel like they're one of the ones I've had to practice the most in my life because they just are tricky. And I've learned to kind of make this loop come up and over whatever the prior letter is. And then I'm often correcting, thickening up this bottom part a lot. I want it to kind of have that point at the top and then come down. And this rock has a little bit of bumps on it. So that I think is one of the big challenges for people is dealing. You might get to be practicing on a regular piece of paper and feel pretty comfortable with what you're doing. And then you go to a rock and it's bumpy and it just makes life harder. It definitely does. Let's see. Oh, this light is totally blocking my view. I can't see. Yes. Oh, poor Carrie. She has a broken arm. Hopefully you'll get some answers with the orthopedist this week. It's not fun. I don't know what I would do. I probably should think about it because you know what I asked for my birthday? My birthday's in April. My husband's been bugging me for something like a list, and I don't need anything or particularly want anything. And then for the twins' 18th birthday, a group of my son's friends, Donnie's friends, threw him a surprise party at the roller rink because he likes to roller skate. And we got him I don't know if it was us or Santa, but somebody got him roller skates for Christmas a few years ago. And so they kidnapped him to surprise him. And they invited us too, which was nice. So Sammy and I got to go. And I haven't roller skated in a long time, and it was so fun. So I asked for roller skates for my birthday because Donnie's that he has are so much better than the crummy rental ones that you get at the roller rink. So I was like, you know what? I could totally see us coming here more often, like maybe every weekend. They have a family skate on Sundays. So I could see us going. That'd be fun for Sammy and I. And you're moving, so it's a fun way of exercise, right? Like they always say, you need to find forms of exercise that you enjoy so that you'll actually do them. And I just was like, this is what I want to do. I want roller skates for my birthday. And I was told no at first, and then my husband realized I was serious. So we'll see what happens there. Let's see here. How long does a bottle of paint last? Gosh, I don't know if I have an exact answer for that. I feel like I've probably got ones that are more than 3 years old, so older than yours. You can sometimes reconstitute them by adding water, but I would recommend that you add water like, oh, that's still not dry, drops at a time. Like not, don't put it under the faucet, but like get a little dropper and just add it little bits at a time and then shake it up. You could add the pouring agents that people use for paint pouring. If you have any of that, that also would help if it's gotten thick and kind of yucky. You could do that too. What else? Yeah, so that was, I think in the past, that was part of the reason I liked Apple Barrel is I didn't feel guilty if I did have to throw it out because it was like 50 cents a bottle. I think they were 40 cents back when I started, and then now with all the inflation and stuff, it's gone up. But yeah, we're gonna get Carrie better. We'll send her lots of good thoughts for sure. Try painting with your good hand. That might be fun, Carrie. Maybe we should do a live stream challenge and I'll do it left-handed because I'm terrible with my left hand. My husband oh, now you're really worried about falling. Okay. So I'm gonna be that person out there with a helmet and pads on maybe. And my husband used to do EMS, so I wouldn't be surprised if I get my roller skates, if they come with accessories like that. I think he made the kids once when they were little wear bike helmets in there. So we'll see. That might be kind of fun to do a challenge with left-handed stuff. I am not good with my left hand at all, and I get made fun of for it a lot in this house because my husband is amazingly ambidextrous, and it's infuriating how easily he can switch. He's left-handed, but he can use his right hand almost as good as his left for most things. Maybe not writing, but most things that you might be better at with your dominant hand, he can do with his stinking right hand. It's infuriating. I may not get to the face on this today because this paint is on here pretty thick, so I may have to do an update later in the game with this guy, but I'm going to do the outline to get this on here. Oh my gosh, you can totally see those little gold strokes from that stray hair on the brush. So this rock has a little bit of bumpiness to it. So can you see that? You can kind of see, and you can see where the paint kind of went in there or didn't go in there. So this is a rock that could have benefited from, I'm going to say, a coat of Mod Podge beforehand. I was just running around rushing and I wasn't paying attention. But the Mod Podge, I don't think this necessarily needs spackle like that. If you guys have not seen my trick about smoothing rocks, smoothing and priming them, if something has a bigger hole or bump, I will use spackle to fill it, and then I'll seal that with Mod Podge. But sometimes just a straight coat of Mod Podge it kind of fills into these little bumps and it smooths it out so that you don't have as much of this going on. But I actually think that might be kind of nice because it works like the bubbles, right? Like the champagne bubbles. And then I don't think I can write on this yet. So we'll see. Let's see. Maybe we can play around with the other rock a little bit more. I'm going to add some of these guys. We call those like the fizz in the pop. Try to with this very thin. This would be a case where the nail art brushes would be really handy to get a really thin one. Maybe I'll wait because this brush is kind of thick and it's going to end up looking kind of hugely thick. But I also have a little bit here that was showing through. I'm just going to fill that in. I'm going to wait. So I will add some details with the nail art brush after the fact, just because I want them to be nice and thin. And I use those on the bunnies for the whiskers because and I also used it to do the outlines, the thin outlines around the ears. So they're really great. I first saw them at my nail lady's office and her sitting in her chair, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna look for some of those on Amazon, and they're really not that expensive. They're like, I don't know, $6.99, $5.99, something like that. So they're quite affordable and they're really handy. Abstract painting with your left hand, that could be fun. I know what we could do, Carrie. We could do like the craft videos you see for toddlers where you put the you could either put a rock or paper or whatever in the Ziploc bag with the blobs of paint, and then you close the Ziploc bag and you can just like squish it around. There's your abstract art. It's not messy. Well, it might be messy when you pull it out. That might be kind of challenging. We will find something for you to do. All right, I'm going to straighten a few of these out. This is where I'm a terrible not practicing what I preach about imperfection. So this E looks a little bit funky to me and uneven. So I'm going to try and even that up a bit. And hopefully I won't mess it up more in the process, because sometimes you just need to leave things alone and they'll be okay. Other times it helps. So I don't know what I'm doing, if I'm making it worse or helping it, but this little line is right in the middle of a bump, so it is tricky. And sometimes if that happens when you're writing with like a Posca paint pen, here's a good example right here, this little spot right here where the paint pen didn't get the rock, I'll come back in with a thin paintbrush and some black paint and just poke at the little holes that didn't take with the pen. And that helps sometimes, or it kind of, you can smooth out some of those bumpy lines by just getting in the cracks a little bit with a paintbrush. I'm trying to keep up with your guys's. Aw, Carrie's so sweet. She sent me a care package like a month ago. It was full of goodies and fun stuff. And it was super sweet. I like the abstract painting idea. I'll put my thinking cap on, Carrie, and see if we can come up with something. So this one, I think I'm going to try something kind of crazy, and I'm going to try, I could either do lines going up like the fizzies here, or I could go around the whole thing. I'm not going to go around the whole thing because I don't have room there. Okay, that decides it. I'm talking out loud. I'm going to do some fun, kind of, I guess like fireworks maybe, but they're not. I don't know what they're. Just lines. And I think the key to some of these, like the rabbit whiskers and these, is when you go, start with the most pressure towards the bottom and then kind of like pull it up to where it flicks, and then it gives it that nice kind of like you let up on it at the end. Or almost like flicking, I guess. I don't know. I don't know quite what this is. I'm just wanting some gold in here to make it pretty. I may end up taking the nail drill and getting this off of here later. We'll see. I'll add some bubbles, maybe kind of like holes. I don't know if I like that or not. This is what happens when you just let your mind go. Now I'm going to bring it all the way across. Let's see. We can kind of tie the gold into, you know what we could do? We could fill the whole back thing with dots so that the cheers is popping out, and then I'll just have to get rid of those later and put more dots. I kind of like that idea. I like this better. So those will get erased later and replaced with dots. What do you think? A little time consuming, but it is a fun look when you get it all filled in. There's another way to relax. Well, some of us like relaxing this way. I could see how some people would get annoyed by too many dots or all the things. But it's a neat look, especially if you do like multiple colors or the dizzy dots where there's layered dots. I like that so much. We'll see. I don't know. Kind of looks like a crown. This is Sunday morning, no coffee brain that you guys are getting. All right. That's kind of the idea. Let's see, maybe this will get, yeah, that might get dry enough. We can put our face on if we do this. So we'll dot along. I got the cutest thing. It just came yesterday. I just opened it this morning. I should have brought it over here. There's another channel that does all mandalas. Her name is Jadel Rocks. And she got this little ring. It's a little ring and it looks like a paint palette. Somebody sent it to her. And it actually has little, words are not working for me this morning. Little, it's a palette, like an actual palette that has little divots in it for paint. And it fits on your finger. And she used it to do really tiny dots on one of her designs, like background dots, kind of like this. And the idea is that it's like it'd be right here. So I just be doot, 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 instead of going back into my paint over here. And for her, mandalas, they're all dots. So she was saying how much it saved her hand from having to go back and forth. I think the only challenge might be is that I don't think it'll hold a ton of paint. You'd probably have to refill it fairly often if you're going to use it for a mandala. But for something like this, you could put gold in all the little holes, and I wouldn't have to constantly be going back and forth to the paint. You just go off your finger. Doot, doot, doot. I thought it was the cutest thing. And I guess it's a nail tech is kind of what the main use for them is. And somebody figured out they could be useful for crafts and art and stuff. Oh my gosh, I just stuck my fingers in dots. So that'll make an appearance at some point here. I'm not going to go too far into my lines because I'm going to drill them off later. I might even come back and add some silver or I have a pretty copper paint that I never use for anything. It's so pretty, but I just don't use it. Maybe I'll come back and add some more colors to this mess. Or I might scrap the whole thing and just sand it off. That happens sometimes too. But ultimately, I think about somebody finding this, they'll be happy regardless, right? They will find it and be like, what's this? What's this thing? Yes, the dots. Definitely the dots. Yes, she has some great ideas and she's so super sweet. I had another cool trick from her. On the homemade stones from the gypsum cement, the backs of them often end up rough, the part that's up in the mold. And so I usually like sand them and then I use a nail buffer to smooth them out. And she goes out and just rubs it in a circle on concrete. And it is so much faster. And the mess is now outside. There's not powder everywhere. Like it's the most genius thing ever. It's like one of the favorite things I've learned from her. Okay, let's see. So this guy is pretty simple in that I just hope he's dry enough. I don't know why I'm calling it a him. Maybe it's a girl. So we're just going to do the little upside down U's for the eyes. Ooh, yeah, this is not quite dry yet, but I'm going to use a really light hand. And then I'm watching where my bumps are here for the smiley. I didn't bring any other colors over here, so I'll fill in I don't know if I like the teeth that are out here. It's cute. And then there's rosy cheeks too, which I can do with the dotting tool elsewhere. And then it looks like they tried to do the bubbles. What I think I might do to achieve the bubbles is some glitter paint. Or actually, I did bring one glitter paint over here. My trusty hologram glitter paint. So this isn't gold, but I don't think I want to do gold because I feel like the gold might blend into this too much. So this kind of has a different color profile to it where it's got kind of a bluish green for the iridescent. So let's make some bubbles with this. I'm going to do it kind of thick, so this is going to not dry in our time sitting here for sure. I'm thinking how there's always bubbles coming up from the bottom. So I'm adding more. So this is a case where the inspiration came from my little traceable, but I'm being a little more bubble happy than oh, the sun's kind of shining in from behind me. I swear, I need to just figure out this lighting situation because it's driving me crazy that it's not nice and bright like my normal filming area. And I just don't trust that the Wi-Fi could hold up through all of this because this computer is actually plugged into the internet. Some random dots and then maybe some coming out. The other thing I think I might do, so this looks kind of funny now. Looks like he has measles. The other thing that I might do, actually I think I will do, I've done this before, is so the glass part looks kind of weird that it's just kind of outlined in black. So what I'm going to do, I didn't bring it with me, but I have my Dragonfly glaze is a really fine, it's glitter, but it dries smooth where you can write on it. This doesn't dry smooth. It's bumpy glitter, but the Dragonfly glaze in it, so it's such a fine glitter that it's a nice look for, I've used it for glass and for what do you call it, Scotch tape. I have an old video that it's like little post-it notes with Scotch tape on the corners, and that's what I used to kind of give a little bit of shine to the Scotch tape. So I think that's what I'll fill this and this in with. But for now, I think he's kind of done. Okay, you saw the video with the little paint palette thingy. So cute. So that's going to make an appearance somewhere in mine too. No teeth. You don't like the teeth either. Okay. No teeth. Hopefully it'll look cool. We'll see. Oh, Temu has them. Plastic and metal. They have plastic on Amazon too. I debated about getting a plastic one because they, in the pictures, looked like the little wells for the paint might have been deeper. I've only ordered from Temu a couple of times more than a year ago, and I have not since, and I don't know what's going to happen with all of our potential tariffs. I would assume that that's going to affect them because that stuff comes from China. Hit or miss experience with Temu, I think. I got some stuff that I really liked. I got some cute clothes off there, actually. And then there was another one where they were advertising rocks, and I kind of knew it was going to be a failure, but I just wanted to see comparison to what their commercial or their little pictures and stuff on there said. And it was like all these pretty smooth rocks. They were little rocks, and I knew that. But then, and it looked like you were going to get a bag about like this big that was just stuffed full of them, and it came with like 4 rocks in it. So that was a Temu fail. But it was not surprising, and it was kind of funny. So it made for a funny video. But yeah, so and who's a lot of stuff on Amazon, I think, comes from China too. So I don't know how that's going to play out for us, but we'll see if prices go up or how that works. That is not a topic we're going to delve into beyond that here. But anyhow, I think we made some cute stuff today. And at the top of the chat, I don't know if I can, let me see if I can put this in here again. If you didn't get the link for the, I gotta move this light. It's in my way. If you didn't get the link for the traceable, oh, thank you, Mary Jane. Happy 5th birthday. Can you believe we've been around for 5 years? This is so crazy. It feels like monumentous in weird ways because this channel started during COVID, during the pandemic. The whole idea, it was not to reach all of you necessarily. So you guys have all been the best bonus ever. It was to try and help keep our local rock group connected because in the beginning we didn't know what the deal was with COVID. So we paused hiding rocks because we didn't know if the rocks could have germs on them. So for the very beginning stages of it, we were being super careful. And so I started this to try and keep us connected in a different way. And then it ended up being as much fun as painting the rocks and then just growing outward beyond our little local area here. So that was a pretty cool, neat thing. But if you did not get the traceable, whether you're going to use it as a traceable or design inspiration, I'm going to post. A lot of people don't know I have a website, but I have a website. So it's on that page. You do have to scroll down. When you get to that page, the first thing you're going to see is the video of everything you need to know to paint rocks. But right below that, there's a downloads section. And right now there's 3 downloads on there. There's a rock painting resource guide. There was a free traceable from when we hit 7,000 subscribers. And then there's this one, the free 5-year channel celebration. So you can download it there if you want. It's there. And thank you guys for coming to celebrate and hang out. It's been a fun day. Oh, Sammy's coming to say hi before we close.
Hi.
We're almost done. So, careful. I've got some more spring video ideas that'll be coming your way. Oh my goodness, we need to cut those fingernails, dude. They're so long. You're going to hurt yourself.
I am bleeding.
Silly. So keep your eyes peeled. Carrie, we are sending you lots of healing vibes. Oh, she said hi. So we're sending you lots of healing vibes and we're gonna get you painting with your left hand, but let's let you get to the doctor this week and hopefully get some answers. I'm crossing my fingers and toes for good news that you'll be healed faster than you think. So I will see you guys on the internet. Have a wonderful Sunday. Have a great week and happy painting. Bye.